So I wanted to share some of the similarities between Ubungoma and Hoodoo. Ubungoma being the traditional South African healing tradition, the healing practice, which produces sangomas and inyangas and prophets and prayer warriors and herbalists and many of the same things that you find in Hoodoo. They are both traditions that are rooted in African ancestral practice, African cosmological practice, Bantu traditions. And one thing about all Bantu traditions, especially Western and Southern African spiritual traditions, and even Kemetic practice, to a certain degree, there's a through line. There's a heavy ancestral through line. There are certain things that you're going to find in all African practices, African spiritual practices. You're going to find the ancestors. You're going to find the river. You're going to find herbs, herbal healing. You're going to find candles. You're going to find divination. You're going to find sacrifice, although that's not quite as prominent in Hoodoo as it is in other African traditions. However, there are times where a chicken may have to give up its life. So that there's the animal sacrifice. There is the belief in a creator. There's a belief in God. All African traditions believe in God. Jesus, that's something different. But God, the creator, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And what you call God, how you relate to God, how you interact with God, with that divine creative force, depends heavily on the region that you live in and on your lineage. And so that's another similarity that Hoodoo has with other African spiritual traditions, including Ubungoma, is that it is very much lineage based. I am a Hoodoo because my great-grandfather came to me in dreams and said, this is what I want you to know, and this is what I want you to do, and how I want you to practice, and this is your charge. Because in doing so, it is in service to my family first, and to my community, and to my ancestors, right? That's the whole thing. And it's the same thing with Ubungoma and really any African traditional practice. And now that I think about it, even other indigenous spiritual practices, I know of a couple of curanderas who are Peruvian traditional healers. The through lines in traditional spirituality, indigenous spirituality, African spirituality are very thick, very thick. And it's very interesting because in the Bible it talks about the body of Christ having many administrations, right? Many ways of functioning, but one God. Well, it's the same thing with African and indigenous spiritual traditions. We believe in a creator. For some, the creator is male. For some, the creator is female. For some, the creator is male and female, as in Maulisa in West Africa. It's a male and female creator God that is two in one. So, like I said, it depends on your region. It depends on your lineage. In Hoodoo, we have the ring shout and the praise house. In Ubungoma, we have Ngidi. And Mgidi is the traditional ancestral ceremony where the sangomas come in full wedlozi, which means they are fully embodied in their spirit. We have on our regalia, all of the things, and it's drumming and it's dancing. And in that ceremony, ancestors speak. People receive messages. People receive healing. I've seen people be healed. I've seen other people's idlozi become activated simply by being in the service, right? And they have to be escorted out, just like in the Black church. People get overcome. They say somebody in here needs to catch on fire, and the fire spreads. These things are all through lines, and that's how you know that our spirit as African descended people is holy all by itself. Because it doesn't matter how we worship. It doesn't matter how we engage with spirit. It doesn't matter whether we call ourselves Christians or Muslims or whatever. If we get activated and we hear a certain sound, a certain rhythm, and we start dancing and we start moving, God is there, period. Point blank. The end, you know? So, yeah, Ubungoma and Hoodoo, for me, blend so well and so easily. One of the major differences is that Mamsamo, which is the traditional altar, in South African spiritual tradition, which in Msamo really means like the heart or the womb of the home. And my Msamo for my South African spirits has to be on the floor, whereas my Hoodoo ancestors would very, very, very much prefer not to be on the floor. So I have to have 2 separate altar spaces. But the thing is, you have to know your ancestors. You got to know your spirits, your guides. You got to know your amatlozi. You have to know your egun. You have to know who you're working with. So I know that when I need a certain kind of energy, when I need a certain kind of insight, a certain kind of activation or whatever it is, I know I'll go to Mam Sama. And I greet them all the time. I greet them every day. And then I greet my blood ancestors every day. And I talk to them about what I talk to them about. And I talk to them and let them know that I talk to them. And I'll talk to them and let them know that I talk to them. Because see, here's the thing. It's all me. These altars are just are representative of this disparate aspects of me. And I have to tend to me in both ways. And so being duly called, or even triply if you want to add in the Pentecostal evangelist, pastor, prophetess thing, it's been a challenge. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? It has been a challenge. Like, how is all this gonna work? But in yielding to spirit and in, allowing myself to take the pressure off, that really, really, really has helped me to be able to, and help my spirit to be able to integrate, and work together to bring healing to my soul and to my spirit. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, these are some of the similarities, in Ubungoma. The main form of divination is bone divination. But they also use, I know plenty of sangomas who read tarot and who read oracle cards and who do other forms of divination and who do Reiki and massage therapy and yoga and all of the different things, some of the more quote unquote modern healing modalities that a lot of hoodoo practitioners engage in. There are sangomas who don't necessarily do like quote unquote healing work. Their medicine is in helping to produce the products that help other sangomas and other people heal, So it is the beauty of both traditions is that they're both so incredibly flexible. They're both so incredibly accommodating. And they both have your ancestors and spirit as the foundation and the center of them. So it's a beautiful thing to walk in both paths and have both callings and both areas of responsibility, and just seeing how they blend and come together in my life and help other people. Okay, love you, bye.